Good morning, comrades. Yes, I'm back again. You thought you got rid of me, but I'm not going anywhere. So today, comrades, I thought I'd like to give you a bit of an update on social media posts and what I'm going to describe as unintended consequences of forcing 20-mile-an-hour limit on everybody in Wales. And I say forcing because the interesting bit is they sort of go through this pretense of where they say to yourself, oh, we've listened to you, yeah, we've consulted. Now it's been in about a year now, and if you remember, 500,000 people, or just under, out of a population of 3.1 million, said we don't want it. The politicians who we pay, who we elected, and apparently they're the ones who are supposed to serve us because they're our voice, they said, get stuffed. There you go. They went, yeah, we're listening, but by the way, get stuffed, we're not interested, don't care, you've got it wrong. Right. From there is what I like to explain as unintended consequences in action. So, if you remember, a lot of different social media groups have sprung up. A lot of them are saying we don't want 20 miles an hour, what we want is something more reasonable. There you go. Reasonable is being the main word. And the politicians being politicians said no. Now then, one of the interesting things what's happened is since it's about 12 months, maybe a bit more since that was imposed on us all, is more and more people are on social media and they are now promoting and having an awareness of a greater range of subjects. So we've gone to 20 miles an hour to a whole range of wide world issues which impact on people, and that is unintended consequences in action. How does it happen? Well, let me tell you, most people like to have a little box. This is like a little box, right? And we live our little life in that box, and it's perfectly normal, perfectly acceptable. And as we go through our life, we don't really want people pushing in on that box. They do every now and again, but then we push them away because we like what we're doing. This could be running, cycling, walking, driving, flying, you name it, right? Anything you want to do, like going out to your mates, having a cheap drink with a mate, driving about, going abroad, doing anything like that, right? Freedom of expression, saying what you want. Anyway, now what's happened is, and this is a crucial bit for me, more so in Wales, the 20 miles an hour, everybody else has realised that their little box is being squeezed, and now they've woke up and they've thought, what's going on here? That literally is what's going to happen. A lot of people are saying it, and a lot of people have been called conspiracy theorists. I don't know if I have yet, but either way, yeah, count me in that bunch. So I just thought I'd take you through some of the wider subjects to show you the unintended consequences in action. And as I say, I'm trying to give you some hope here. I know everything's doom and gloom. Don't forget that doom and gloom is promoted by mainstream media. Mainstream media I describe as things I don't watch. Mainstream media is, according to a lot of polls, on the way out. So they're struggling. They're like this. Keep us going. And one of the tactics they do is to starve a lot of organisations, independent media, of adverts. Yeah, it's like a cartel. Shouldn't really do it, but that's what they're doing. So, let me start off by taking you through some of the posts. So as you can see, the first one, it's a big electric battery on a box, on wheels. Now then, you look at that and I just think to myself, what on earth is that about? Right, I'll tell you what this is. This is like stupidity at its best. So, in my car, sometimes I might have a petrol can. Right, it's a gallon petrol can. I lift it out, I fill it up, I put it back in the boot, and if I run out of petrol, I put that petrol into my car and off I go again. I don't have to cart that about. I mean, some commentators on here, as you can see, they make comments like, I feel saddened that people will marvel at this. Well, I agree with them. I mean, talk about making life difficult for yourself. So, that's one of the interesting ones. We then go on to this. The question here is, so where's all the money gone? And a point to note, it's on action against 20 mile an hour speed limits. So, unintended consequences, we're now talking about this. And this is as it says, Welsh Council struggling to fix and repair its cycle path. Right, each year we give Sustrans about £120 million of our money without our consent to fix all this, so they're not fixing it. And you can see this cycle path is not even being used properly. Now then, a cycle path I do not consider to be an essential item in everyday life, so I'm not surprising they're not fixing it, because it's not essential. So next one, again this is a nice little comment here. Buying an electric car to save the world is the same as getting sterilised because their neighbour, or your neighbour, has lots of kids. Work out what that means. Moving on, and again this just shows how wide we are now. National Farming Union. So again this is one. We're very concerned about the family farm tax. Now then, I don't really know much about farming. As a Boy Scout, I used to walk across fields, used to talk to farmers every now and again. I used to behave myself, shut the gates and everything else. Now, I like to eat meat. I want farmers to exist. I don't understand what they're doing here. I don't understand any of this at all. However, it just shows everybody is having a wider appreciation of what's happening in the world. Again, we like a sense of humour. This one, penny for the guy crossed out pensioners. They actually ran out of room, but there, such is life. As you can see, wider issues at stake here. Now, I'm guessing, my prediction is, the current government and co will basically be wanting more money off all those pensioners. Right, so, hide your money away, keep hold of it somehow. And again, we still have a sense of humour. This one, breaking news, as you can see at the bottom, Lord Ali, now that's the bloke who kept giving everybody to Labour, having money to Labour, given Drakeford £12.50 for the soup for recent elections. See, we have a sense of humour. And again, we then leap into anger over enforcement of 20-mile-an-hour zone in Cornwall Village. Right, this is important because in England, not Wales, 20 mile an hour is being rolled out. Everybody in England were going, yeah, it don't matter, it's not us. Well, guess what? Welcome to it, it's going to be you soon. So, stop crying. Yeah, stand up for your rights, don't put up with it. For some reason, no idea why, because I've not seen an epidemic of speeding going on. 100 mobile speed cameras will be out and about this month. Why that is, I've no idea. Where on? Yes, so, when you get fined, and you have to go on a speed awareness course and you pay 120 quid, 80 quid, the local police force get 40% of that. The rest of it goes to, guess what, a charity. Yes, a charity you didn't vote for, a charity you didn't want, a charity who you might not even agree with what they do with their money. Right, and then we sort of move on to other topics. This bloke here, he goes on about Welsh hospitals issuing warnings that they're overstretched, burn down, highest level escalation, etc, etc. Now, he's dead right, they've been doing this for about 20 years. And it's a tactic they caught onto to try and get sympathy from the public. Now, as this bloke rightly points out, I'm not a director, I'm not a manager. What am I going to do about it? And then he goes on to say, if I'm not well, I'll be ringing you up. I'll be expecting a service. Right, I think that's fair and reasonable, given that he's paid for it all his life in the same way I have and others have. As I say, look how wide this is getting now. And then we go on to, again, action against 20 mile an hour speed limits. We don't want more 36 members of the Senate. In fact, even I personally am looking into what they get up to, and I can already tell you, they already have second jobs. Now, I don't know what the 36 are going to do. I have genuinely no idea. So, you can see, people are now waking up and they're seeing what's going on. Right, again, we like a sense of humour, maybe sarcasm, not sure. So, remember the blanket gate? This sums it up. I'd like a blanket, please. It's for me nana. Now then, I have a feeling that might be to do with winter fuel allowance. But they don't want us all asking for blankets, because remember, the word blanket, or maybe the actual article blanket, is banned now in Wales. So, I don't know what you can do. Maybe you can get a fleece, I'm not sure. Right, this one, I have a feeling this is real, actually. Someone's done a montage of the future, or maybe the present, of what we're going to be doing. Simple question for me. I look at this and I say to myself, wait on, where's the bloody lamb chop coming from? There you go. Hey, I don't want any of that. I could say look a lot about this, but I'd run out of time. Right, and then this bloke here, very common question sometimes. Anyone on here been on a speed awareness course? What's it like? There is many comments about that. All I'll say is remember, you're going on a speed awareness course, not for 34 miles an hour, but for 24 miles an hour, and if somebody else wants to, they literally can make that 21 miles an hour. Right, that is how insane of a time we are living in. Yeah? And all the politicians who look at you and say, it's for your own good. No, it's not for our own good, mate. It's for your income, and that's the end of that for me. Right, and then we've got this one, Cardiff Council. And again, one about parking plan. Great comments on here. Cardiff Council want to hear from residents, businesses and workers about a new parking plan. Comments here, sum it up. Love it when the government say, have you say. Cardiff Council are also the government. I know a lot of people say it's a council. They're in the same. They take the money and they do as a bidding. So they're exactly the same. And it says, well, we never asked for this. But when you do ask us, you ignore us anyway. So what's the point? So they're just being realistic about life, saying, don't bother asking us, you're going to impose it anyway. And then we're now a little bit of sense of humour here. Look at this. So, active travel edition. Right. So instead of wheeling everywhere, you'll be able to fly everywhere. Now I have a couple of questions here. First off, are they going to be restricted to 20 miles an hour? If that's the case, what speed do they need to reach to take off? In other words, you might never get taken off with them, but you have to admit, there's a good sense of humour there. And then this bloke sort of sums up a lot of comments over the last 12 months and more I've read. Go by public transport, they say. I've just checked a journey I need to do today on a travel app, and it's 16 minutes by car, but 1 hour, 40 minutes by bus. So much for the green alternative. The bloke is dead right. It's like if I had to go to a hospital appointment or any appointment. My appointment's at 10 o'clock. I look at the train table or the bus timetable. And what is it? Oh, bus leaves at 9:30. Right, okay, journey time 1 hour. Train? Oh, there isn't a train. Right, I'll always be late, I'll always be early. So do I have to put up with that? No. A car is designed for my convenience and everybody else's convenience. That is how society was established. Now, if they want to realign the whole of society in the public sector to match up with public transport, you might get somewhere. Well, that's an idea. Anyway, it's not going to happen, is it? And then, of course, again, as I said, everybody's now getting greater awareness. Now, I don't quite get this. This is by the First Minister. Labour's budget will provide the largest real-term settlement for Wales in the history of devolution. Now then, don't get me wrong, you want devolution, great, carry on, do with it, but you have to be self-sufficient. That's how I look at it. Right? You do what you want, don't really care. However, what you're saying is you don't really want full deviation, you want part deviation, as long as you can get some money from somebody. Right, I'll save you some money. So, stop net zero, that'll save you between 1.5 billion to 2 billion pounds per year. Now, you don't know what it's actually going to cost, well, I can say that. But I do know, to pay third sectors, charities, you give them £500 million a year, so cancel that, and just to keep me happy, stop all the money for active travel. That's me happy, right? Top of my head, I've saved you about 2.2 billion there, so you can thank me later. Right, so as you can see, social media is a good indicator of where people are with things and how they're thinking. And for me, I think it's more positive than negative that people are now becoming aware, because as I've said, they're now having to live in that and they want to live back in that again, as we all do. Right, thank you for watching. Have a good week, because today for me is Monday, and catch you on the other side. See you later. Bye.